So this story here is about how Amber Heard said Johnny's actually the one who cut off his own finger and he was really the abuser. And when I first read this, I was like, you know what? Johnny's got some text to his private doctor saying some things that does sound a little funny. But I got a message from someone here named Julie, and she has a counterpoint to it. However, I'm going to read the counterpoint last because I want to read the article as it is and let you guys judge for yourself. So, here we go. Johnny Depp ripped off Amber Heard's nightgown and strangled her in 2015, fight lawyer says. Johnny Depp attacked Amber Heard ripping off her nightgown, slamming her into a countertop, and strangling her and cut off his own finger. This according to a lawyer for The Sun who spoke during a hearing in the UK defamation case Depp filed against the magazine. According to the New York Post, the court heard a graphic account of a March 2015 fight where Depp allegedly ripped off Heard's nightgown, grabbed her by the breasts, and then by the neck and strangled her. The Post says a lawyer representing The Sun told the court that night the complainant shoved Miss Heard into a ping pong table, threw bottles through window panels of a glass door, then grabbed Miss Heard and tore off her nightgown. Several text messages are also read aloud inside the court hearing regarding Johnny Depp's allegation his finger was severed after Amber Heard threw a bottle of vodka at him. According to the lawyer, Johnny Depp admitted he cut off his own finger and texted his personal doctor about the situation. On March 7, 2015, Depp wrote in a text to his doctor, "I cut the top of my middle finger off. What should I do? Except, of course, go to a hospital. I'm so embarrassed for jumping into anything with her. F the world, JD." So, okay, stop right there. Assuming Johnny did text that to his doctor, I'm going to have to assume that's true. His doctor could have lied, but it's hard to squirm your way out of that. So that seems so far that, you know, kind of a point against Johnny. Maybe the first one, this whole case in like 23 videos I've seen were like, yeah, that sounds a little strange, just to be honest. 12 days later, he texted his personal doctor, "Thank you for everything. I've chopped off my left middle finger as a reminder that I should never cut my finger off again. I love you, brother Johnny." So, assuming Johnny Depp wrote those texts, I have to believe that he at least thought he cut off his own finger, or, here's the thing, the one other thing is that maybe at the time he didn't want to tell somebody that Amber Heard did it. He didn't want to incriminate her because he didn't know where the relationship was going to go, if they were actually going to get a divorce, this and that. So we're going to have to hear more on what he says. But yes, that's the one thing I could think that might have made him say what he said about himself doing it. The accounts were read in London courtroom as a part of the ongoing legal case where Depp is suing the paper for calling him a wife beater. Amber has detailed the fight in previously filed legal documents saying Johnny pushed me, slapped me, and shoved me into the ground before I retreated to a locked bedroom. She continued, "The next day I went downstairs to find that Johnny was still awake and that he had stayed up all night, having taken about 8 MDMA pills. He was also drinking again. We got into a fight that Johnny made physical and I barricaded myself in one of the rooms. That didn't stop Johnny from busting through the door of the room I was in. By nightfall, Johnny had hit me multiple times, shoved and pushed me to the ground, choked me, and spit in my face." Now here's where the thing about, Johnny's past relationships comes into play, where they had this testimony that he would just like never do stuff like that. So even if he did accidentally cut off the tip of his own finger, which is kind of weird, never heard of that in my life, but anyway, it's still hard to believe this is still a separate thing about whether he beat her or not. In Amber's filming, she claims, "Johnny then handed me a liquor bottle that he was drinking from and asked me, 'What are you going to do?' I threw the bottle on the floor. Johnny responded by starting to throw cans and unopened glass bottles at me. That night, Johnny shoved me into a ping pong table that collapsed underneath me. Johnny threw bottles through the window panels of a glass door, breaking 2 panes and leaving glass everywhere. Johnny then grabbed me, gripping my body and nightgown. He tore the nightgown off, and at some point I was naked and barefoot, covered in alcohol and glass." Alright, so she gives a pretty detailed story there. And, the thing goes is if somebody's telling the truth, they should be able to repeat the story. So hopefully they'd have her repeat that story multiple times to make sure she at least, had that story correct. She continued, "In one of the most horrific and scariest moments of this 3-day ordeal, Johnny grabbed me by the neck and collarbone and slammed me against the countertop. I struggled to stand up as he strangled me, but my arms and feet kept slipping and sliding on the spilled alcohol, and we were dragged against the broken glass on the countertop and floor, which repeatedly slashed my feet and arms. She should have proof of slashes. Scared for my life, I told Johnny, "You are hurting me and cutting me." Johnny ignored me, continuing to hit me with the back of one closed hand and slamming a hard plastic phone against the wall with his other until it was smashed into smithereens. While he was smashing the phone, Johnny severely injured his finger, cutting off the tip of it. At the time, Amber says Johnny then dipped his finger in black paint and wrote on items in the house with messages to his then wife, which sounds really strange to me. That sounds like psychotic and absolutely nuts, so I got a hard time believing that. We've obtained a copy of photographs of the severed finger and Johnny's trip to the hospital, which now seems to be front and center in this case. Alright, so let me just recap the important things. I want to make sure it's clear that, yes, I did find this weird if Johnny texted himself. But, like I said, it's possible at the time he did not want to incriminate Amber Heard. Obviously, he changed his mind. So now, let's take a look at the counterpoint I was sent. So I got this from Julie, and she says, this is everything she sent about the subject, by the way. Also, 2 texts from JD allegedly saying he cut his own finger off, referring to what I just read. But they got the date wrong. Heard claimed he was beating her when hospital records show he was in the hospital. So it seems like if they got the dates wrong, maybe something else is wrong. So when I heard this, I was like, yeah, okay. If the dates and texts are wrong, then maybe some other info is wrong, and we're going to have to take it from here. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this down below. Doing shoutouts, special thanks. No shoutout now, I'm recharging my phone. I do shoutouts on my phone and everything. So yeah, please subscribe. That too. Ending the video, like really ending it, like right now.